Welcome to the Sage Thought Leadership Podcast. Financial professionals, let's move forward together.
Well, hi, everyone, and welcome to our podcast. I'm Ed Kless, and with me today is Erik Tomalis. Erik is a proven fundraising professional and has always been forward-thinking, donor, and people-driven, but most of all, results-oriented. With over 20 years of professional fundraising experience, Erik has made over 4,500 face-to-face donor solicitations where he raised millions of dollars for many nonprofit organizations. He served as a frontline fundraiser as well as an executive in some transformation organizations focused on generosity, such as the St. Jude's Children's Hospital, the Boy Scouts of America, and the Allegheny Health Network. At Virtuous, Erik is committed to helping nonprofits grow globally with generosity. Welcome to the Sage Thought Leadership Podcast, Erik.
Hello, Ed. Hello, friends. How are you this morning, this afternoon, this evening, wherever you're listening?
Well, first off, Erik, why do you do what you do?
Oh, that's a great question, Ed. Ed, I love generosity. I grew up thinking about generosity. I grew up in the Boy Scout program about helping our neighbors, helping our community. Nonprofit just fell into it, and I've loved every moment of it about helping our neighbor and helping our community. And so I just love connecting donors that want to solve a problem to organizations that are actually on the front line solving the problems for our communities, whatever it might be, and connecting the two. It's a real joy, and now I get to serve it on the front line of tech, serving nonprofits, of just showing folks on how we can grow generosity through effective tech and holistic environment.
And talk to me a little bit about how the nonprofit sector has been responding to the decline in giving recently.
Yeah, that's a great question, Ed. So over the past few years, what we're seeing through, the Fundraising Effectiveness Project or the Giving USA report, all and like a whole host of other different surveys and data points that are coming out there, that you're seeing a decline in donor giving to organizations. You're seeing a decline in organizations receiving larger gifts, as well as you're seeing honestly, the Edelman Trust Barometer came out recently, and it showed that, folks are actually not trusting nonprofits as much as for-profit organizations, where a few years ago, nonprofits were the most trusted organization in the world to be able to give, as well as there's a whole host of, just in the last 10 years, there's 500,000 new 501c3 registered. So now it's over 1.5 million nonprofit organizations. And really what we're seeing across the entire landscape is the fact that there's a decline, but it's because, and Dr. Adrian Sargent did a survey on this a while back, was there is a decline in impersonal messaging. There's a lack of acknowledgement. There's a lack of connectedness to our donors and to our constituents, to these nonprofits. And honestly, they're feeling disconnected because when you look at the for-profit space, you think through Netflix or Amazon, they're listening, they're connecting, they're suggesting, they're talking to our people in a personal manner. And I do a lot of traveling, right? And so when I walk into a Marriott hotel, in my room, it says, "Welcome, Mr. Tomalis" on the TV. Or in Uber, you can hear it say, "Drop Erik off on the right." These things are inherently expected of us as people. And unfortunately, nonprofits are, I hate saying it, they're behind the time a little bit because they don't know what is out there to be able to help support them. And there's a really great opportunity, and that's what I love about what we do at Virtuous, where we are that tech that is that ecosystem that is focused on what this core methodology we call responsive fundraising. But we can take folks down a donor journey, and we find basically connecting our CRM, our email marketing, our online giving, our volunteer management, event management, all the different tools and resources that a nonprofit would utilize, but taking individuals through automation and AI and opportunities to be able to connect with our donors and personalize and not let the robots do it, but make a more genuine approach of connecting with our constituents.
Yeah, recently I came across an app that actually lets you donate to very specific targeted even people. You can even see this going to this village, to this family. So yeah. I think that's what you're talking about, is they're responding to this technology.
100%. Well, and that's another great point too, right? Older generations give to organizations, the younger generations are giving to causes. The GoFundMe page is a huge boom for this younger generation of doing exactly what you said, supporting directly the cause and go right into the mission, versus the older way of just saying, hey, let's support an organization and help everybody, right? So it's a real unique spot right now.
is perhaps also part of the challenge, and this might sound a little counterintuitive, but that so many organizations are giving and creating these funds that they're giving, and sometimes the people think, well, I quite literally gave at the office, so therefore I don't need to give as an individual anymore.
Right. Well, and that's a great point. Like, so there's I'll unpack that a couple different ways. There's a whole host of sister charities, right? I don't consider all these new nonprofits as competitors. We all have different missions and different purposes and different case for support. So I consider them competitors, but they're more like sisters, right? And then the other side is like, you're totally right. How do we communicate with folks? I think through the way the nonprofits think is like, hey, how do we communicate to a digital donor? How do we communicate to an annual donor? How do we communicate to a male donor? Where your point is right on, where it's like, no, people who give just think of ourselves as donor. And I don't remember how I gave. I just know I supported your organization, right? So we need to respond now with tech and nonprofit and helping them of just saying, hey, let's connect with them multi-channel, whether it's through text, mail, and phone, email, whatever it might be, but communicate with them and acknowledge the contribution, appreciate it, and talk about the impact that they're having.
So do you think there's going to be a turnaround in this in the near term? Do you think we've maybe hit a little dip and it's ready to go the other way?
Oh, 100%. The organizations that have come onto Virtuous over the last 10 years, you can see the increase, and you can see the net new revenue for those organizations. It's interesting. When I talk to nonprofits, they're like, how do we acquire new donors? And the easiest answer is they're already in your system. They're already in your database, right? And it's like, how do you communicate to your own people better? And utilizing Virtuous and utilizing this concept of responsive fundraising, we're seeing that growth mentality right now. And it's been a real pleasure to help others.
And Erik, we have an exit question that we ask all of our guests, and that is, who is a hero of yours and why are they a hero?
Oh, I knew you were going to ask that question. That's a great question. So I grew up here in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania, and, I'm a little older, but, I always call him my homeboy, but Mr. Rogers, I grew up watching him every morning, and I just, he made me who I am, for focus on generosity and love and helping others. But his one quote that always sticks out to me is, there are 3 ways for ultimate success. And the first way is to be kind. The second way is to be kind, and the third way is to be kind. And that's always stuck with me, and I just love helping others. And it's got to be Mr. Rogers. Late Mr. Rogers.
And lastly, Erik, how can somebody contact you?
Yeah, that'd be great. You can connect with me on LinkedIn. My name is Erik Tomalis with a K. You can connect with us on our website through Virtuous, www.virtuous.org, and just love to connect with folks.
Erik Tomalis, thanks so much for being a guest on the Sage Thought Leadership Podcast.
Awesome. Thanks, Ed.
Review and subscribe by searching your podcast player of choice for Sage Thought Leadership Podcast.